Honorable Govind Chaudhary ji, Shri Prajananda Chaudhary, President NUJI, Shri Ras Bihari ji, मेरे पुराने मित्र पवन जैन जी, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to be here today for the inauguration of the biennial session of the National Union of Journalists of India, which is amongst the most prominent press organizations in the country. Since its inception in 1972, the NUJI has been at the forefront of the efforts to create a level playing field for the press to enable it to perform its expected role in a democracy and uphold larger public interest. I commend its work and salute all the journalists who have worked tirelessly for the betterment of press in our country. The press informs, the press educates, the press even entertains. In a democracy, it plays an important role in the formation, projection and dissemination of public opinion. It is or should be a guardian of public interest, an honest witness to events, a tool to uphold government accountable to the people. It is also meant to be a bridge between the people and the government by facilitating dialogue for the formulation and implementation of state policies in accordance with the wishes of the people. आप चिंतित ना हो, आपको पूरा टेक्स्ट हिंदी में मिल जाएगा, क्योंकि पूरे देश से लोग आए हुए हैं, इसलिए मैं अंग्रेजी में बोल रहा हूं. A free, fair, honest and objective press is a potent instrument for enhancing transparency and accountability on all sides. Freedom of the press is thus one of the most important ingredients of democracy and reflects the character of the state. Its importance can best be summarized by what the French statesman Talleyrand said: without freedom of press, there can be no representative government. For the press to play its designated role, it must be free, fair, impartial and unprejudiced in coverage of news and views connected with all segments of society. It must not be subservient to vested interests or be distorted by them. If it has a specific orientation, it must say so candidly. The press played a role in the freedom struggle, and Gandhiji himself was perhaps the most influential editor-journalist of his time. In independent India, the press has acted as a cornerstone of democracy and accountability, and most of the time has come up to public expectations. Our media today has grown in size and coverage. There are today around 93,985 registered publications, 850 permitted TV channels under news and current category, and 437 under non-news category. Doordarshan itself runs 37 channels. Besides, there are over 250 FM radio stations and numerous internet websites. We thus have every reason to be proud of the strength and diversity of the Indian media. However, and from time to time, there have been media-related developments that are disconcerting. They raise questions about the media's objectivity and credibility. These relate to 1. Cross-media ownership. 2. The phenomena of paid news. 3. Media ethics and the need for effective and viable self-regulatory mechanism. 4. The declining role of editors and their editorial freedom. And 5. The need to improve working conditions of media personnel, their safety and security. In considering these questions, we now have the benefit of 3 weighty and relevant documents. The first is a 2009 report by the Administrative Staff College of India at the instance of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting on cross-media ownership in India. The second is a February 2013 consultation paper by the Telecom Regulatory Authority or TRAI on media ownership question. And the third is a report on paid news made on 6th of May this year by the Parliament's Standing Committee on Information Technology. Together, their findings present a disturbing picture. The commercial imperatives for the incursion of big business into media and the resultant concentration and market domination are known to this audience. These have worked against competition and media freedom. The Administrative Staff College report found that 11 of the top 23 TV channels had stakes in print and radio, that remaining had interests in at least 2 media platforms, including television. 4 networks had vertical linkages in cable DTH broadcasting. The pressure on the quality of news coverage and decline in media pluralism has occurred due to slowdown in increase in advertising revenue and predatory pricing squeezing out small independent publications. It is said that most of India's 300-odd news channels are loss-making and dependent on dubious cross-holding, black money infusion, and dodgy private equity investors, foreign and Indian. In this scenario, the media is inclined or forced to adopt unethical methods. The magnitude of the problem is highlighted in the TRAI paper. It drew a direct link between uncontrolled ownership and paid news, corporate and political lobbying by television channels, propagation of biased analysis, and forecast both in political arena as well as corporate sector and irresponsible reporting to create sensationalism. Lethal, where the ownership or control rests with entities which have both business and political interests. The paper concludes that regulating media ownership is essential in the public interest as a guarantee of plurality and diversity of opinion. The Parliamentary Standing Committee report on paid news has asked TRAI and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting to consider on a priority basis the matter of paid news as well as cross-holding in the media. It has proposed that urgent action be paid to cross-media ownership question before it emerges as a threat to our democratic structure. The Standing Committee has recommended putting in place a suitable, concrete and enforceable mechanism to curb the problems of cross-media ownership and paid news. This could take the shape either of a statutory media council consisting of eminent personalities or a revamped Press Council of India functioning as a regulatory body for the print media and a similar body for the electronic media. In both options, media owners and interested parties should not be part of the regulatory body. Alongside, the Standing Committee has also stressed that government and the regulatory bodies concerned should improve the working conditions of media personnel, including contractual employment and wage scenario, and to ensure that the autonomy of the editorial staff was upheld. It is thus evident, friends, that a detailed analysis of the nature of the problem and its dimensions is in the public domain and specifically with the government and Parliament. The need for comprehensive corrective action is imperative and must be undertaken without delay. A failure to do so would lend credence to widely expressed apprehensions about special interests. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of culture, ethics and malpractice in media is not specific to our country and have risen in other democratic polities. A recent case in point is the Leveson Inquiry Report in the United Kingdom in the aftermath of the News of the World scandal. Its opening paragraph noted that for the 7th time in 70 years, a report has been commissioned by the government which has dealt with concerns about the press. After examining in some detail the dealings of the press with the public, the police and the politicians, the Leveson report has recommended an independent and self-regulatory body governed by an independent board whose chair and members must be appointed in a genuinely open, transparent and independent way and without influence from industry or government. It has made specific recommendations on regulatory models for future, protecting journalists, access to information, media employment, press and politics, plurality and media ownership, etc. It ends with the observation that, and I quote, "the ball is now in the court of the politicians," unquote. It is to be noted that the Standing Committee has also asked the Information and Broadcasting Ministry to consider the recommendations and the developments associated with the Leveson report. It has asked the Ministry to take a concerted, comprehensive and swift action on this crucial matter without any further delay, and in any case before the onset of the next general election, to prevent resurfacing of the Hydra head of paid news. A word about media ethics would be relevant. In the hearings before the Standing Committee on the working conditions and issue of the wage of media personnel, a witness observed that there are two types of journalists: those who are not influenced by ideals and principles of journalism, they are happy, and those who want to be really journalists, they are unhappy. In conclusion, I can do no better than to recall the words of Walter Lippmann, perhaps the most renowned and respected American journalist of the 20th century. There is no higher law in journalism, he wrote, than to tell the truth and to shame the devil and remain detached from the great. He also observed that there should be a large space between a journalist and the head of state. I hope that your deliberations over the next 2 days would focus on some of the issues that I have raised. I am confident that a distinguished gathering as this one has enough wisdom, experience and expertise to discuss, deliberate and arrive at solutions which will be in the interest of all sections of media, the public and above all democracy, which we so cherish in this country. Jai Hind.
मुख्य अतिथि महामहिम उपराष्ट्रपति जी डॉक्टर मोहम्मद हामिद अंसारी जी, नेशनल यूनियन ऑफ जर्नलिस्ट के अध्यक्ष श्री प्रज्ञानंद चौधरी जी, मेरे अग्रज एवं देश के वरिष्ठ पत्रकार शिरोमणि श्री अच्युतानंद मिश्र जी, यूनियन के महासचिव दास बिहारी जी और संगठन के अनेक वरिष्ठ नेतागण, सर्वश्री राजेंद्र प्रभु जी, नंद किशोर त्रिखा जी, पीयूष कांत राय जी, असीम मित्रा जी, देश के विभिन्न भागों से पधारे प्रतिनिधिगण, ये मेरा परम सौभाग्य है कि मुझे नेशनल यूनियन ऑफ जर्नलिस्ट के 17वें द्विवार्षिक राष्ट्रीय अधिवेशन में आप सभी का स्वागत, अभिनंदन, आतिथ्य सत्कार करने का सुअवसर प्राप्त हो रहा है। अलीगढ़ विश्वविद्यालय के कुलपति के रूप में आपका कार्यकाल सदैव याद किया जाएगा। मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मुझे